Greetings, podcast from Road Southern People. Welcome to this podcast. My name is Craig Tran, speaking from the beautiful Rocky Mountain, South Carolina. And today's date, Monday, January 28th, 2019. So, let us begin. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. Actually, today, 33 years ago, the Challenger has exploded up in the air. 7 astronauts have passed. I remember hearing about this when I was in high school, on my senior year. A lot of folks were stunned, of course. But you always gotta take risk to achieve things in life. And these 7 men and women have made that sacrifice. So it's a real shame. Of course, there are the same faulty equipment, such as freezing wires. Workers, the staff as a whole were overtired. And fatigue does affect people's judgments. But one thing for sure, you always gotta think about it. Give a little toast to those individuals for what they want to do. And many others that want to achieve things, and they passed for it. Plus, I would like to do my little brief commemorative about Roger Stone on the arrest he made. The arrest that was done by the FBI Friday morning. And of course, CNN did exclusive on it. Man, they're desperately seeking ratings, are they? And the question I have, did any FBI representative informed or got authorization by Broward Sheriff Gregory Tony, because he does have a 10th Amendment obligation to say yes or no. And I do agree that it was totally ludicrous. Going in there, gun, firearms blazing and all that. Spare me. Pretty damn pathetic, I would say. So that's the question I have for Sheriff Tony on this area. Because the fact is this, my friends, I have sent a memo to him on that. And I'll just read it. And I sent this out past Saturday. And I wrote to him, "Greetings, Sheriff Tony. Has an FBI representative contacted you to request to enter Broward County for the arrest of political consultant Roger J. Stone? If not, this agency has breached protocol by not honoring your 10th Amendment obligations. According with the case of Sheriff Dave Mass versus the United States, which just happened in Bighorn County, Wyoming, all right? All federal officials are forbidden to enter a county without the sheriff's approval. And Federalist Papers 46, authored by James Madison, addresses the federal government shall never encroach within the state's jurisdiction." I'm just paraphrasing here. "I understand you're focusing on reconstructing the sheriff's office, so I'll emit a few links to examine at the best of your ability." And there's a couple of them about Sheriff Mattis, Federalist Papers 46, and Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. And thanks, and hope to hear from you soon. That's said that with kind regards, to be exact. And I'll say this, it doesn't matter if you like Roger Stone or not. I'm not a big fanatic over the man. However, he's a hustler, okay? Political lobbyist. He knows how to get information, try to find a way, and sell it to the masses. Can't blame him. That's just how it is. Made a very good living off of it. Many people don't like him because he supported Trump or was a Trump advisor. They're all like, ah! And of course, CNN and of course George Stephanopoulos all trying to make him he's guilty, which is totally ludicrous. The man has a right for a fair trial. And I've read the charges, the claims. I call them claims from a grand jury. Accusations. I do see a good amount of hot air in these memos. So that's how I look at it. However, he's still innocent until proven guilty. And it's so funny about they try to hold this whole Russian intervention and whatever you want to call it. It's still selling you an empty gift. It's like, hey, look, there's something in there. There's an empty box. There's nothing in there. No, there's really something in there. That's what they're trying to propose. And if you know me about how I feel about Robert Mueller, okay, and of course James Comey, they had political prisoners in there already, including Francis Schaefer Cox from Alaska, and there's a whole list of that. You could consider Roger J. Stone a political prisoner, which is fine, but these other guys got guilty for all the garbage and hot air. So yes, he has a right for defense. If you're going to donate the money, if you like him or not, be a stand on principle, because anyone could be next with these snakes in the grass. That's the truth. And you talk to a person who's not even a Trump worshiper either. That's for the first time listeners, because many of you heard plenty of my episodes, know where I stand. I am principle over party. Period. So yes, that's how I see it. And I live in Fort Lauderdale, so I should go take the initiative. I'm going to the trials. It'll be very entertaining indeed. That's how Roger Stone is seeing it. He's, hey, give me opportunity of fame here. Let's go. So, but I know one thing: CNN desperately seeking ratings, because right now, I was watching this video a couple of days ago, or yesterday, from We Are Change. Luke Rudowski talking about how the mainstream media is plummeting. They're getting their rear ends whipped in the information war, and I think it's awesome. I see this as well. That's the solution, my friend. Be proactive in your own avenues. You're going to go out in the street screaming and yelling on top of your lungs. Talk to people. Go to the coffee shops. Hit the libraries. Even on the streets. You'd be surprised who you meet. I have folks that came to me, asked me about the Rothschilds, okay? It's growing little by little. So remember, it's not over. There's no such thing as nothing you can do. When someone says that, they don't want to do it. That's how I look at it. They're saying, I'm a complainer, I'm a whiner, I'm a goody two shoes, and my motto is tread on me. Those are the people you want to avoid. Human doormats. All right, enough of my ranting on this area, but as I recall in the past, when I talked about the governor's race, I told everyone don't believe the hype about Gillum and DeSantis. And of course, one says racist, the other one says anti-Semitic. It's like, total dog and pony show. However, I know for a fact, even from past articles in his campaign, now Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Florida is pro-Israel. So, why do you want to support a nation that was chartered by the UN, and CIA documents been declassified? That a lot of them immigrated from Soviet Union, the Bolsheviks, communists indeed, right? So that's the question. One of the questions we could say to Senator Ron DeSantis. I'm going to add that link to it as well. I believe it's from Resurrected Republic by Thomas Acklevera Stewart. Very good. He get very good synopsis and all that, and he just puts out information to get people to think, and tyranny and all that. So he's one of the guys I always endorse. I will try to add that link to my for my footnotes. You can see for yourselves. And I read a good amount of it. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. So before that, we'll just this one came out a few days ago, and this is from the Electronic Intifada. Florida governor punishes Airbnb, for discrimination against Israeli settlers. All right, let's see what he has. What's up with what Nora Barrows Freeman has to say. She is a staff writer and associate editor at the Electronic Intifada and is an author in Our Power, U.S. Students Organized for Justice in Palestine. They may call her anti-Semitic, right? All right, let's just see what he has to say here. Florida governor has directed that his state should cease doing business with Airbnb, as Affirm announced it would stop listing accommodations in Israel's illegal settlements. DeSantis alleges that company has engaged in commercial discrimination against Israel and is in violation of Florida's law that punishes supporters of boycott, divestment, and sanctions, or BDS campaigns for Palestinian rights. In a January 15th directive to state contractors, which he declared that Florida is a pro-Israel state. So we should have the Star of David in the middle of our flag, of Florida's flag, right? But I'll continue on here. Florida governor says that his mandate is in response to policies undertaken by Airbnb against the Israeli people. According to a memo, the University of Florida has capitulated to DeSantis' mandate and has urged its staff to cancel any upcoming reservations with Airbnb that would be used during official college business. So he's going to tell you who to do business with, like, peacefully. Airbnb announced in November it was delisted its units from Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank following years-long campaign by Palestinian international human rights activists. Last week, despite months of intense pressure by Israeli and U.S. lawmakers to rescind this decision, Airbnb seems to have reiterated its November announcement and said it would be pulling their rental properties. Here's a list right here. So by right here, let's talk about South Bethesda, Akabihaza, and settlements in the West Bank. Have you remove these listings in these regions? We are working to experts to develop and validate the means to implement our policy. And you can read it yourselves. Omar Shasker posted this on his Twitter page. The company stated on 17th January that it has developed a framework for evaluating how we should treat listings in disputed territories, including territories that are some considered occupied, where homes, the core of our business, are central to ongoing tensions. The company has not indicated exactly when the rental units will be delisted in the West Bank colonies it is searched that is continuing to move forward. Palestinians who live under occupation and confinement in the West Bank or elsewhere in exile cannot rent Airbnb properties in nearby Israeli settlements. Israel bars Palestinians from accessing the areas simply because they are not Jewish. Yes, but we can support exceptionalism. Ron DeSantis, I support exceptionalism. Abraham Lincoln is my Lord and Savior. Yes, I can be critical towards the governor who represents my state. And I'm not surprised. Vigilance is the key, my friends. I will continue on here. But DeSantis and other U.S. lawmakers are denouncing Airbnb for discrimination against Israeli settlers who wish to make money off their properties on stolen Palestinian land. In this directive, DeSantis goes above and beyond the laws already on the books that seek to unconstitutionally coerce its residents not to engage in boycotts of Palestinian rights. Zohar Kahili, staff attorney for the organization of Palestine Legal, told Electronic Intifada. While his target today is a global company, if this action goes unchecked, he would easily use the same tactics to blackmail mom-and-pop shops and everyday Floridians who support Palestinian rights, Kahali warned. A professor at the University of Florida who wished not to be named in fear of losing their employment told Electronic Intifada that they were dismayed by the university's capitulation to the governor. Belly up, belly up, belly up, up, up. Oh yeah, I think you know why? Because here's the thing. If it's the University of Florida, that's a public college. So he signs the checks. Palestinian rights advocates said the professor are scared to speak out against the state's anti-BDS law and the governor's aggressive enforcement on them on behalf of Israel. Please, Benjamin Netanyahu, I'll do anything for you. I will lick your boots and pull down my pants. It's not only the governor, Professor said, but foreign entity is directing on how you can carry out your normal life. The memo from the university administration mandates that the staff cancels all official university business travel reservations that utilize Airbnb services and make other arrangements. The memo was seen by the Electronic Intifada. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Airbnb continues to carry listings for properties in Israeli settlements in the Golan Heights, Syrian territory occupied by Israel since 1967. All Israeli settlements in occupied territory are illegal under international law. Accusations. Immediately following the November announcement, Airbnb came under intense pressure by Israeli officials who accused the company of submitting to the anti-Semitic boycott. Yeah, they're the only ones who are Semites. How many of them have Semites in the DNA in Israel? You got a lot of foreigners out there from Europe. Boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement for Palestinian rights, as well as discrimination against Israeli landlords and legal settlements. U.S. lawmakers joined their Israeli counterparts in indignation over Airbnb's announcement, with hundreds of state officials condemning the company and vowing to punish it using anti-BDS measures that have been passed in 26 states. In December, Israeli media reported that after meeting with Israel's tourism minister, Airbnb has reserved its decision to pull listings from Israeli settlements. But the company said itself that the reports of reversing its policy were inaccurate, adding that it was continuing our dialogue with the Israeli government and other stakeholders. Airbnb's recent memo reiterated its intent to pull settlement listings, indicate a rebuke to Israel's effort to bully it into keeping the listings on its website. Florida protects Israel from criticism, while DeSantis works to shield Israel from international legal responsibility. A local Florida lawmaker is seeking to buttress the state's anti-BDS legislation, taking aim against the rights of students and educators to criticize the Israeli policies. Introduced into the state government last week, this bill seeks to prevent anti-Semitism and discrimination against Jewish people in all public institutions in the state, even though federal law against such discrimination already exists. So I'm gonna look at that. We should look at that bill. So I'm gonna look at this bill at the moment. It gets pretty interesting. So see what they got here. And probably not really fascinated, to be exact. So, but we'll continue on here. However, under the law, Florida residents could sue or otherwise file complaints against teachers or administrators who criticize the Israeli state, reports the Miami New Times. According to the bill, the acts of anti-Semitism would include the work of multilateral organizations investigating Israel for peace or human rights violations, a clear admission, even questioning Israel's policies, a human rights record will conflate as anti-Jewish bigotry in Florida. Just like, how dare you criticize us? How dare you, even though a lot of us may be criminal elements, you do not do that. See, Adolf Hitler would be climaxing in his grave. And so would be Mao Tse-tung, right? Joseph Stalin as well. Meanwhile, Marco Rubio, how flamboyant he is, a member of the U.S. Senate in Florida, has been attempting to pass a new version of his anti-BDS laws in Congress that would protect states against legal challenge to their own anti-boycott measures. Yes, Rubio. Just look in the mirror and talk to yourself. That's what he needs. He probably has a mirror. Or every time he speaks, try to speak to people on TV. Rubio's bill has been defeated 3 times this month as Democratic lawmakers refuse to pass any legislation that would reopen the federal government, which Donald Trump closed in order to extort $5 billion from taxpayers for the wall at the U.S.-Mexico border. A little bit bigger than that, ma'am. I'll be very frank. I tell you how I got rejected. Such boycott legislation violates First Amendment rights. American Civil Liberties Union and human rights advocates have reminded Rubio that it is a responsibility to protect free speech rights of his constituents, not Israel's interest in violating those rights. Exactly. Article 1, Section 4 of the Florida Constitution. Of course, here, Rubio needs a fresher challenge, the First Amendment. Just tell him to resign. He sucks what he does anyway. And, of course, the Senate's of course, is unconstitutional. Good grief. So we got some mainstream stuff in here. Dangerous, illusional. I like what it says here, Javier Casas Rubio, Republican for the APAC. That's awesome. It's essentially saying that government should have the right to retaliate against those who practice free speech, which is boycotting is, by withdrawing contracts, hence damaging livelihoods, which is very definition of punishment. Let's read that Florida bill before I continue on here. And this H.O. 371, Discrimination in 20K Public System. Okay, that sounds cute when they put these up here. And of course, it's called Act Retaliating Discrimination in Florida, K-20 Public Education System, amending Statute 1000.05. Prohibit discrimination in Florida, K-20 Public Education System, needs basic religion, revising the functions of the office. Of course, there's anti-Semitism in here. 6 pages long. You know what? I still have the right to speak my mind, so more, how I look at this right now, it's a little bit more for all students. Yeah, like I said, it's not a big issue. But if you're going to be criticizing, you have the right to know how to do these things, and that's how you got to look at it. It's an Equal Educational Opportunity Department of Education. Like it says here on one page here of that subsection, which is brand new. It says here, a public K-20 education institution must take into consideration anti-Semitism when determining if a practice of acts of discrimination on the basis of religion for the purpose of section. The term anti-Semitism by all means the following: A certain perception of the Jewish people which may be expressed as hatred towards the Jewish people. Rhetorical physical manifestations of anti-Semitism directed toward a Jewish or non-Jewish individual of his or her property toward the Jewish community, institution, or religious facilities. Calling for aiding, justifying the killing or harming of a Jewish person, making mendacious, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations, this is D by the way, about a Jewish person or the power of the Jewish community collectively. E, accusing Jewish people of being responsible for the real imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person, group, the state of Israel. So right there, what does the state of Israel got to do with Florida? Okay, this is like totally absurd. Or a Jewish national person or group, and for accusing Jewish people or the state of Israel of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. They always say which one. There's a Holocaust happening right now where the people who are Palestinians, many of them are Jewish, Islam, a lot of Muslims, but they're Jewish and Christians as well, are getting treated like garbage also. Is that exceptional? That's not a Holocaust, it's a picnic. That's from, so right there, it's more saying they know best. You just hit that link and you can see it for yourselves. I think I find it pretty ludicrous as far as I'm concerned. And I'll continue on here from Maryland. Challenging Maryland anti-BDS law. Rubio's bill is separate from Maryland Democratic Senator Ben Cardin's legislation, the Israeli Anti-Boycott Act, which has been stalled during the government shutdown, but most likely will be reintroduced in the legislative term. So actually, it will supersede Maryland's Declaration of Rights. How astute, right? Cardin's bill which could be passed, a stealth appropriations bill without debate, aimed to criminalize the BDS campaign and inflict heavy fines and prison sentences on boycott supporters. Well, this guy hates free speech, does he? But activist educators and state contractors are taking action against these bills, which violate their right to engage in political boycotts. Of course, it's self-explanatory. A former lawmaker in Maryland has filed a lawsuit against the state governor's attorney general over that state's 2017 anti-boycott law. Sai Squab Ali is a software engineer and supporter of the BDS campaign, would seek its bid for a government contract, but is barred from doing so under the current law, which demands the contractors sign a pledge not to boycott Israel. The suit states. Yeah, so I'm gonna have some governmental representative from particular states tell me how to hold my hand and take a leak. All right. I'm gonna continue on here. State lawmakers have violated his constitutional rights, according to Ali and his legal team. While anti-boycott measures have been blocked by federal courts in Arizona and Kansas, others have been recently challenged in Texas and Arkansas. However, a federal judge in Arkansas this week dismissing lawsuit filed by a local newspaper over the state's law requiring contractors to pledge not to boycott Israel. Disagreeing with the court decision, the legal director for the Arkansas ACLU said it contradicts two recent federal court decisions and warned that uphold the state's anti-BDS law would radically limit the First Amendment right to boycott. And it's not just that. It's not just that at all. So, it's even in Maryland. It's they do have a Declaration of Rights as well, and I know enumerated rights, certain rights cannot be disbarred. There's Article 45. I know they have a free speech one in here also, which the people should actually read. And I got it right here. So I'm gonna add these two. I'm gonna add the Florida Constitution and Maryland Constitution to these things, so people can know what is happening. And it's very intriguing when you start reading these things. And they do have rights. And it's interesting too, because even Article 2 is honored in the Commonwealth of Maryland too. So they do have 10th Amendment obligations and all that, and common law. I know they have one on free speech. I'm looking at right now. But it's very like it says here, Article 9, that no powers to suspending. Okay, no. Oh, Article 10. That freedom of speech and debate or proceeding in the legislature ought not to be impeached in any court or judicature. So, yeah, right there. The free speech or that one. And of course, redressing grievances. Of course, levying taxes. So there's some stuff in here. Usual punishment. Yeah, I'm just seeing here. Where is it? Criminal cases. Yeah, I should have done this here originally. So forgive me, folks. I like this. Article 28. Now, well-regulated militia is a proper and natural defense of a free government. Yeah, right to bear arms, right? Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's interesting about that, Article 10 on free speech, so, and debate. Yeah, not real, interesting. Oh, here, Article 40. That liberty of the press ought to be unavoidably preserved, that every citizen of the state ought to allow to speak, write, and publish his sentiments on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of that privilege. So, bingo. Article 40 and 45. So definitely add this to the memo for you folks as well. And what's interesting too with DeSantis is that he could be contradicting Executive Order 19-14, which he had Sheriff Scott Israel, Broward Scott Israel suspended, and he made that language in there about breaching his oath of office, hold accountability. So, to Governor DeSantis, why are you contradicting your oath of office on protecting and defending both U.S. and Florida constitutions? What you're doing right now is null and void. Even though your predecessor, Flip-Flop Brooks Scott, and the lackeys that voted on the BDS is null and void. A prohibited law which is under Article 10 of our state constitution. So with all due respect, Governor DeSantis, if you're going to criticize someone for not honoring the oath of office, you have to follow through, not double speak. Don't fall for the Scott Israel syndrome, Governor DeSantis, because it will bite you in the rear end. This is why, my friends, when I talked about Gillum and DeSantis during the Florida governor's race, it proves once again that DeSantis is like Gillum, not Declaration of Rights friendly. So what I'm going to be doing, there's another thing here. I add on the 15th about him announced his actions affirm Florida's support of Israel. It's happened in Boca Raton. And there's letters in here, so I'm going to add that to it. Same thing called with Airbnb. Alright, so I'm going to add that. And, of course, the executive order by Scott Israel, because it does contradict his actions. Alright, that's how you gotta see it. And I will be right back. Alright, cool, I'm back. Just another thing too to add before I continue on. I should have addressed this before my break. You got on the Florida Constitution about the Anti-BDS laws should never supersede not just Article 1, Section 4, but Sections 2 and 5. Section 2 is the basic rights, which states that all individuals have certain natural born rights are considered inalienable. It's paraphrasing. And Section 5 states that you have the right to peaceful assembly without being abridged. So right there, like I said before, Ron DeSantis is contradicting his own oath of office, and he made that claim against suspended Sheriff Scott Israel from Broward County. So there's no such thing as double standards nor exceptionalism. You practice what you preach, Governor DeSantis, and I say that in good faith. It doesn't mean you're always wrong, but I do disagree with you on this. And it doesn't matter if people are pro-Israel or not. Free speech is a natural right. It should be pro-Florida rather than pro-Israel. End of story. Because one thing we got to look at too is George Washington will address warned us about foreign nations influencing our republic, and Fellows Papers 2 through 5. Written by John Jay. You folks can read this yourselves, as I posted so many times. But for the first ones I heard my show now, just giving you an educational viewpoint. All right. Well, here's something interesting. Looks like a couple of clowns and or tyrants, I have to say, from Florida have bills on semi-auto high-capacity mag ban bill filed in Florida House and Senate. Democrat Farmer, which is from Fort Lauderdale, by the way, and Smith filed a bill to ban semi-autos and large-capacity magazines. This happened January 25th. The proposed legislation would prohibit dozens of semi-auto rifles, pistols, shotguns, and large-capacity magazines. Possession would be a felony with minimum of 2 years in prison. Yay, a victimless crime referendum. Hallelujah. Pathetic. Existing weapons will require registration. Yes, can we say police state without would not apply to police agencies. Come on, put your hand in your heart. Go, I support police state. Big brother's my Lord and Savior. Orlando's Democrat State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith and Fort Lauderdale's Democratic State Senator Gary Farmer have filed this bill to ban modern semi-auto sporting rifles, pistols, shotguns, and large-capacity magazines. Farmer Senate Bill SB 466 filed on January 23rd is 18 pages of prohibited firearms models. Smith's House bill filed on January 22nd, HB 445, is a virtual mirror copy. And it says here both bills defines as assault weapon as follows. And as it reads here, it tells you all about it, what it means, the definition, and all this stuff, and it gives you a whole rundown. It's very similar to the constitutional ballot. Okay, it's a replica, to be exact, and I did a show on that. So, and I'll just continue on here. It says here, Farmer and Smith do recognize weapons already in possession to address they are prohibited from registering within the state. They maintain the privilege of ownership. A privilege. I have to have permission? Actual de facto referendum for sure. Certificate of possession. Any person who lawfully possesses an assault weapon or large capacity ammunition magazine prior to October 1st, 2019 shall apply by October 1st, 2020. It says, it's getting real cute down here. There was a time when we will have to say, no way in hell this gets passed. But after Republicans surrendered to the gun control and red flag laws of 2018 with SB 726, the Suspending Public Safety Act, we aren't making bold, absolute claims. Murders of 5 women in Sebring, Florida bank on January 23rd are going to be held up in the 2019 legislative session. As yet another mass shooting require more drastic gun control measures. Should this get to Governor DeSantis, his campaign reg would indicate a veto. Well, that said, the FLTAAT encouraged everyone concerned about assault weapons on firearms freedom to contact their Florida Senator and Florida House member and urge them not to support these bills. A simple message. There I am writing, recalling to you urge to oppose Senator Farmer's SB 466 and Representative Guillermo Smith HB 455, modern sporting arms and magazine prohibition bills. Our right to keep and bear is inalienable, and I am counting you to protect these rights as required by your oath of office. Sincerely. A brief, nice, and point. Call and email if possible to locate Florida Senate member. Click here. If find your Florida representative, click here. Remember, the defense of liberty begins with the person staring back at you in the mirror. It means you all have obligations. And I have contacted Senator Farmer, told how I felt about it. Because the truth of the matter is, my friends, this bill is treasonous under, I call it Article 1, Section 20. However, it does violate Article 1, Section 2, 8, 10, 12, and 23, if I'm correct. Let me just see here. Yeah. And like it says here, it's called Basic Rights, which I talked about. And, of course, 8, which is a firearm, right to bear arms, but be regulated by law. It has to be voted on, too. You got to go through the whole process of Article 12 on this matter in the Florida Constitution. And they might only have mandatory waiting periods for handguns on the state level. So the whole rifle thing as well is considered illegal because it has to go through here. All right, and of course due process. That's section 9. Of course 10 is no bill obtainer ex post facto law or parent obligation contract shall be passed. All right, and 12 if you have these, you don't go through their little procedures. They have to get a search warrant anyway to see these things under Article 1, Section 12. All right, and we can keep on going down, and even you don't have to incriminate yourself. Okay. All right, that's another thing. Rights to be accused. That's Article 1, Section 16. All right, none of their damn business and what you have, and of course, Maybe go ahead all the way down. 20 is considered treason, in my view. These bills are considered treasonous. Treason against the state shall consist only levying war against it, adhering to its enemies, or giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason except in the testimony of 2 witnesses, the same overact on confession of open court. And of course, it says right down here, Article Section 23, right of privacy. Every person has a right to not be alone and free from governmental intrusion into person's private life except as otherwise provided herein. Well, that's no call to violate the right of privacy anyway, so it's null and void. And we could even look at Article 10, Section 2 of the Florida Constitution, because it pertains to the militia. And you want to make sure they're well ready. And what they're doing with this prohibition referendum is jeopardizing that. You want to leave all your security eggs in the hands of the state? That's pathetic. I'll tell these clowns this: go to Venezuela. Okay, go to Venezuela if you're gonna pull that crap. Don't bring your garbage in Florida. You bunch of treasonous parasites, that's what you are. And prove me wrong. You can't. And I called up Farmer and told him that. Senator Farmer, he never called back because he knows I'm right. I'm not even an NRA member. All right. That's one of those areas you got to really look at, friends. These individuals are enemies of freedom. They hate your Declaration of Rights. But it's okay for them to have armed bodyguards. You should contact Farmer and Smith and ask them, hey, are your bodyguards disarmed? What kind of weapons, firearms they have to protect you and your family? They believe this is an entitlement, not a servitude position, but an entitlement. So that's why always stay vigilant. And finally, came out a few days ago. Mike Meharry, 10th Amendment Center, Attorney General nominee Barr admits nullification works. 33 states have effectively nullified federal marijuana laws. U.S. Attorney General nominee Barr said so during his confirmation hearing when he called the current system backdoor nullification. Backdoor or front door, the practical effect is in the same. The Fed can't enforce federal prohibition. Barr affirmed the effectiveness of state nullification when he said he would reverse the policy implemented by former Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Department of Justice will not prosecute marijuana users, cultivators, or businesses in states that have legalized cannabis. In early 2018, Sessions rescinded the Cole memo, an Obama-era order that directed prosecutors to take a somewhat hands-off approach in the states that have legalized marijuana, while asserting that marijuana is illegal under federal law. The directive prioritized enforcement based on several criteria, including preventing the distribution of marijuana to minors, stopping interstate trafficking, stop drug money from funding gangs and criminals enterprises, preventing drug driving, and a few other priorities. During his confirmation hearing, Barr said he would uphold the Cole doctrine. I'm going to go after companies that have relied on the Cole memorandum. To the extent that people are complying with the laws in distribution, of production, and so forth, we're not going to go after that. But it's not that Barr is a marijuana advocate. Quite the opposite. He's a prohibitionist. During the hearing, he said he thinks it would be a mistake to back off on federal marijuana laws. We either should have a federal law that prohibits marijuana everywhere, which I would support myself, but because I think it's a mistake to back off of marijuana, if you want a federal approach, if we want states to have their own laws, let's get there the right way. Wait, really? There is a federal law that prohibits marijuana everywhere. The problem for Barr and his fellow drug warriors is that states started ignoring federal prohibition in 1996 when California legalized cannabis for medical. Despite aggressiveness, federal efforts to clamp down and enforce prohibition, the movement quickly grew. Today, 33 states have legalized medical marijuana and 10 states have legalized cannabis for adult use. So if Barr is so gung-ho on prohibition, Why not crack down? Why not maintain Sessions' policies of enforcement? Because he knows the feds can't do it without the state and local cooperation. The DOJ doesn't have the personnel or resources to enforce prohibition alone. Barr just might be marginally smarter than Sessions. He seems to at least acknowledge reality staring him in the face. The fact of the matter is, marijuana genie is not going back in the bottle. Barr knows it. Hell, everybody knows it. What Barr really meant when he rambled about a federal approach is that even though he doesn't like it, Congress might as well go ahead and legalize cannabis at the federal level because that's the current situation, practically speaking. Prohibition remains in the books, but it's unenforceable in practice. It would be just as well if Congress went ahead and make it official. At least then he would have to answer questions about it. Barr called the current system backdoor nullification. We call it nullification in effect, and it works. Even drug warriors know it. He's absolutely correct. And this is why the 10th Amendment is incredible. And nullification is a great remedy, what Thomas Jefferson said. So, that's the way it goes. Because if you study the history of the 18th Amendment, why it failed, nullification. Slavery was ending real quickly. One of the reasons, nullification. The draft. People, draft dodgers are found not guilty. Jury nullification. It works. It's effective, and the feds and any governmental entity with tyrannical attributes know it. They want to shun it. They don't want you to teach it. They want you to belly up because they assume they want to convince people out there they are smarter than you. I say, no way, no how. So, thumbs up for nullification, my friends. And that's what our Bill of Rights really mean. Government keep out. Period. And that is it. Thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share through Essentially Be Networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you send something interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. I'd like to thank Cafe Collective for letting me do my show here, which are located at 100 North Federal Highway, Suite C4 in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All you gotta do is look it up. They got some good, cool events happening. And next one here, they're doing comedy show, Ron Horton, from 8:30 to 10 p.m. and February 7th, Raw Storytelling Bad Dates, from 8 to 10 p.m. They have little meeting rooms and all that. You can rent for a while. So check it out. Cool little place. And just hit that website, and you can find it. So, all right, my friends. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the maniac resistance healthy for the soul can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.